am Engineer Anthony Akpokene. I'm speaking from Lagos. Books have always been my passion. Even while I was working for the oil industry, I have always loved books. However, the region I came from is a region that is filled with brimming youths who are very industrious, very active, and very energetic. On the other side, you have a lot of miscreants too, who are few, but who determine the way things happen. And I decided that when I finally retire, my goal will be to see how we can emancipate these people. And how can you bring about an emancipation? It is through education. It is through books. It is through reading. And so we started Flomat Books Limited in 2006 November. We inaugurated Flomat Books with a very high fanfare inauguration in Warri. And we started immediately to bring in books that will emancipate our people. The truth is that, as Miles Monroe once said, he said, if you want to hide anything from a black man, put it inside a book. You know why? They will not read it. So that is a big problem. And we wanted to change that narrative. I know that if our youths can read, if our youths can dedicate themselves to reading and to scholarship, a lot of these problems, all this bege that we have in Warri and in Niger Delta will not happen. It is somebody who does not have time, who has plenty of time, is idle. They say an idle man is the devil's workshop. So it's those kind of people that we want to reach. And we've done a lot of programs since we started effectively January 2007. We've done public lectures, we've done quiz competition, we've done musical concerts, which we are going to be showing as time goes on, to be able to bring life and verve and straightforward thinking to our people. In 2008, we decided to start a lecture series called Flomat Books Annual Lecture Series. And we decided to start with one man that is known all over the world. His name is Professor Wole Soyinka, the first African Nobel laureate in literature. We chose him because he has the heart of Niger Delta in his mind. We chose him because he was the one who stood toe-to-toe with the junta called Abacha. Wole Soyinka was so hounded down that he ran away through the Idiroko border and went abroad and began his advocacy. Unfortunately, the constituency I belonged to, the church, we are part of this problem. They were the one that was saying Abacha is the one that the head, the cap fits. I had a lot of problem bringing Wole Soyinka to Warri that time because they said, well, he's a pirate. We are bringing him to come and pollute our land. Unfortunately, or fortunately for us, the people were on our side. And so we were able to have the first lecture with Professor Wole Soyinka. That was when we introduced this book. We actually published this book in collaboration with the guy who had the rights, Bookcraft of Ibadan. So we put resources together and published this book for this event in 2008. And the topic of that lecture was the state of Nigeria and the way forward. And that was when we introduced this book. This book, the title is You Must Set Forth at Dawn by Professor Wole Soyinka. They call it memoirs, but it's more than a memoir. This is an historical review of Nigeria, right from independence down all the way to about 2000 and the timeline is here of Nigerian history. If you permit me, I'll get up to show you a few things that Wole Soyinka highlighted. You know, this is the timeline of Nigerian history since independence as portrayed by Professor Wole Soyinka. You can see in 1960, 1st October, independence from Britain. In 1962 May, the state of emergency declared in Western region, then the abortive census exercise. In 1963 August, what happened? The Midwest region was created. In 1st of October, also, Nigeria becomes a republic. All in 1963. In November, there was fresh census, and the Nigerian population there was 55.67 million in November 1963. 1964 December, there was the election crisis. 1965, October to December, what happened? Political crisis deepens after Western region elections. Remember, there was a lot of rigging. Meite, that is Operation Meite, where they were killing each other. That's what happened that year. So it's not today this fighting because political issues started. 1966, January 15, this was when the Ogbonge thing happened. That was the first military coup, overthrow of First Republic. That's when Ironsi, Agun Ironsi became our president. Then there was a revenge coup on 29th October, July 29th. There was a second military coup, and that's what that brought General Gowon. Then September, October, there was an ad hoc constitutional conference. It is from here down that Nigeria began to fall down. Because what happened? Look at what happened in January 1967. Aburi meeting to forestall imminent civil war. 27th May, what happened? Creation of 12 states to replace 4 regions. Then Ojukwu announces secession of the eastern region and declares Republic of Biafra. And 6th of July, 1967, the civil war began. You can go on and on and on and on down to the timeline of Nigerian history. Like I said, this is not just a memoir, this is a historical book that every Nigerian must have in his coffers. So if you are a Nigerian, you must have this book. If you are old enough, you must buy this book and leave it in yourself for your children. Because a people that do not recognize their history are condemned to repeat the mistakes that they have done in the past. And that is why we are so passionate about this book and want every Nigerian to have it. If you are a historian, it is your book you have. I hear that they remove history from the Nigerian curriculum, but they have put the history back. So we need this kind of books in our literature, in our houses, in our schools, and everything. Every school library in Nigeria must carry this book. Unfortunately for us, Wole Soyinka did not write with big grammar as he did in The Man Died. This one, me, I'm an engineer. You know, we don't like Oyibo too much. But me, I could read this book. If I can read it, anybody can read it. So it's a fantastic book for you. If you are in a school that offers geography, that offers international relations, this book is for you. So we are recommending strongly this book. I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that are inside this book, the historical significance of this book. Because like I said, he went back to history to begin to tell you about Nigeria. There are maps here. In fact, from this book, you can create your own map and put in your house. Put this map in your house. Create it, put it in your house to see how Nigeria transfigured from the early 1950s before independence up to where we are. Let us look at it. In 1955, we had 3 regions. In 1963, we had 4 regions. And it was just in 1963 that there was a plebiscite. We know what plebiscite is. There was like a referendum where the people of Midwest, the one they call Bendel, met together and said, we want our own region. They met, they agreed, and it was passed to the federal government, and they created the Midwest region. That's how the Midwest region was created. And the Northern region, Western region, Midwest region, Eastern region were all created by plebiscite. People agree that this is not how, let me go pidgin English, that this is not how we want them. We don't want them any other way. Now so, that was how these regions were created. But what happened after the Civil War? After the Civil War, the military took over, threw away our constitution, and started this unitary government that we are seeing. So you can see, from that on, look at what happened. 12 states were created in 1967. By 1976, it became 19 states. In 1987, it became 21 states. In 1991, it became 30 states. And in 1996, it became 36 states. From 4 regions. Nobody agreed, though, that they should live like that. But this is where we are today. And this is part of the problem. Because when you force the people together that do not agree to be together, now wahala and ideal, that's the wahala that we are still facing today. And we will not get out of it unless we go back to the origin of where we agreed how we agreed to live together. So ladies and gentlemen, a few people have said so many things about these books. I'll just read for you what they said. First of all, the erudite Chief Emeka Onyoku, who was the former Commonwealth Secretary General, this is what he had to say. Set forth at dawn gives us a measure of the author's humanity and values. Both have been honed in our country. He has been made by Nigeria as much as he has defined its conscience. Then Kensaro Ruwa's son. I talked about it briefly. Kensaro Ruwa, who was murdered, who was killed brutally, and all that because he was talking about emancipation and environmental issues that was caused by degradation. Like I told you at the beginning, I'm an engineer. I worked for Shell for 21 years. I worked in all the creeks, Pologbene, Tologbene, Sagbama, Uzere, Olomoro, name it, Bomu, everywhere I worked as a petroleum engineer. I drilled the first horizontal well, Saplet 26, in Warri area that produces so much oil for them up to a certain stage. So I am very vast in these matters of drilling and the community where we worked. If you go to these communities, the degradation is horrible. They don't have pipe-borne water. They don't have hospitals. They don't have schools. These are the places that the oil and gas that sustains this nation's economy comes from. Go to Abuja. Look at how it's well planned. Look at everything. I remember when some Niger Delta militants were sent to Abuja. By the time they came back, they started bombing all pipelines. Why? Because they were amazed. Look at where they came from. Many of them live on top of water, defecate on water. Nothing for them. You know, so that's a topic for another day. We are going to introduce a book called Environmental Assessment of Ogoni Land some other time, where President Goodluck Jonathan decided to commission United Nations Environmental Protection Agency, UNEP, to do a study on the pollution that has taken place in the Ogoni Land and how they are going to do a remediation. That will be subject of another day. However, Kensaro Ruwa Jr., this is what he has to say. As befits the hard-earned credentials of the man, a Wole Soyinka book is always charged with political dynamite. Beyond the intrigues and labyrinths of Nigeria's politics and history, there is still something for the literary estate. Because when the muse descends and Soyinka fledges his literary wings, the writing soars. I take one more. There are many others, but I take one more. Hazel Rochman says, as much a political history as it is an autobiography, this candid memoir, with the passionate close-up view of the past and the valuable insights, is a must for anyone concerned with human rights and the global web of oil, poverty, and corruption. Ladies and gentlemen, once again I introduce to you this book, You Must Set Forth at Dawn, by Professor Wole Soyinka. You can reach us at flomatbooks@yahoo.com. You can reach us on our WhatsApp number 0813-6456-529. If you are calling outside Nigeria, it will be +234-813-6456-529. We have other numbers, but WhatsApp is just good enough. Email us at flomatbooks@yahoo.com or anthony.akpokene@gmail.com, and we'll be able to reach you immediately. Thank you very much for listening. And once again, remember, our slogan is whatever goes into the mind comes out in a life. Read books, read good books, read powerful books, or your life will shine. God bless you.